Today's podcast is sponsored by Audible. Oi! Get a free audiobook download now and a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/nothingbutstatic. They have over 180,000 titles to choose from, and you can get it across all your devices, your Androids, your Kindles, your iPhones, your laptops. Yeah.
Stop it. Stop. You're about to, list, Sega Mega Drive. I knew where that was going.
About to start listing
Stop
things
that,
start about listing things that the service isn't simply not available on.
Yeah.
But
I know where you were going with that.
Yeah.
It's fine. Stop.
Yeah, so that it's good. It's a free trial and a free book. Get the book. Some good books.
It's a great service. Go check it out.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to Stephen University. This week we'll be discussing Rocknaldo. Yeah. Chris, what was it about?
So, just Ronaldo. We all know. We all saw it.
Yeah.
That moment.
We did.
So, Stephen's walking around town, not aware what's about to come. And
I'm gonna love it if the punchline to all this is that you loved this episode.
It
seems unlikely, but
it makes a comeback. Yeah. Ronaldo's giving out letters about the rock people.
Yep.
Stephen takes a look at the pamphlet because he's all jolly. It's not that long before he was all depressed about his mum, but he's gotten over that shit quickly. Fine. And then he's reading the rock people thing, and it says about the rock people being bad guys. He goes up to Ronaldo. He's like, "What?" And Ronaldo's like, "Yeah, well, the gems are different because rock people can have their rocks within them." And Stephen's like, "Yeah, but look," he said, "they can produce weapons." He produces the shield. He says they can transform.
I forgot all about this.
Stephen, this is what I'm mainly angry about. Stephen produces a thing.
Oh, what? Sorry?
On his finger.
Well, no, I'm sorry. I think for the context of the of this, you need to name it, Chris, because I can't remember what you're talking about, and if I can't remember it, and I only saw it recently. A lot of the listeners are probably going to be wondering, what does Stephen produce?
He produces that thing I hate on his finger.
Is it okay if you name it? Because there's many things you hate.
Yeah. I want to name it. I hate you being an arse, but you being one. Then I'll name that. You being an arse.
I just think you should.
He produces a cat finger, Dan. Okay. You want me to say it?
A cat finger. Okay.
You want to hurt me?
Yeah.
Fine.
Okay.
Produces a cat finger, and it's just as shit.
And how does he remove the cat finger?
He puts it in his mouth because he's not worried about scratches and hepatitis.
I'll be honest with you. That my legitimate concern with that scene is just I would not put anything furry in my mouth. That's just that instinctively feels wrong. Furry.
Yeah, I don't know if cats do have hepatitis, but they can scratch. It's not good.
Yeah, it's definitely not hygienic to put a cat in your mouth.
No. So Ronaldo sees the errors of his ways in a moment, and then Stephen
for about 8 seconds, Ronaldo sees the error of his ways.
Stephen shows them a video where he reveals he's going to join the Crystal Gems, and then Ronaldo moves in. Jesus. So Ronaldo moves in.
It's like the plot of a bad sitcom, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And comedy ensues. You can't see it, but I'm doing that gesture.
Yeah.
Comedy.
Do you mean comedy?
Comedy. Comedy ensues where... Well, no, it's not even funny. It's Ronaldo rapidly getting
more
depressed
and more obnoxious.
And going a bit crazy because he's not had any sleep while he's not allowed to join the gems. And then Connie's got a sword, but he wants a sword, and he's chopping juice boxes and stuff. And then Ronaldo falls asleep, and so they put him back. Yes, that's part of the conclusion. Doesn't get thought out, doesn't get discussed, just Ronaldo falls asleep. They put him back, and then Ronaldo sort of sees the errors of his ways, and him and Steven have a conversation, and away they go. Look, I'm being slightly glib for comic effect because of the thing on the finger. But genuinely though, it's not. It might if memory serves, we actually were relatively complimentary of the last time we saw Ronaldo.
Well, the last time we saw him, I believe, was the episode. It was Restaurant Wars, I think.
Restaurant Wars, yeah.
Yeah, because he was part of the kids of Kofi and
Kiki and
Kofi and Mr. Fryman were at Loggerheads, and their sets.
Oh,
of
sorry,
kids,
not the kid. Yeah.
Their sets of kids sort of were working with Steven to undo that, and there was this great running gag about Ronaldo having a girlfriend that lived far away, and no one believed it. And then she shows up, and it was he was used well in that episode, and we were like, hey, that's how that character can function in this show. How not to make this character function in this show is this, because look, okay, so I was slightly torn watching this for a minute, because I went, this is terrible, this is pointless, it's not funny, it's not entertaining, the characters aren't going anywhere. And then I thought, but we complain all the time about the people who don't like the Townie episodes and say that they're just not giving them a chance, or that they're not like, you get something from all those episodes even if they're not like mythology ones. So I started going, oh, maybe I'm just being like that but for this, and then I went, no, I'm not, because this is basically 8 minutes of Ronaldo learning not to be an arsehole. But
a lesson which, as far as I'm aware, he's already learned.
Yeah, and like, it doesn't go anywhere. It's like, oh, he's putting out misinformation. All right, now he's putting out not misinformation. But the journey between those 2 points is just this meandering thing where it just doesn't know what it wants to. It doesn't want to know what talking points it wants to hit. It doesn't know whether it wants to be a comedy episode or if it wants to be like a dramatic episode. It doesn't know if it wants to sort of partially parody Steven's beginnings with the gems or not, and it can't commit to one of a million ideas, and as a result it's just a mess that makes Ronaldo come across more obnoxious and annoying than he has done previously. And it's such a shame, because I know there are diehard Ronaldo fans that are in the comments right now saying they're really sad that we didn't like this episode either. I'm sorry, I cannot help what I like and don't like. I really don't like this episode.
And us criticizing it whenever we like don't like something and get like quite grumpy about it, or we sound obnoxious. So like people are like, you're just being Ronaldo now. But like I think they kind of
really
done that
did try to
before
see this from the other side, though. Can I just put this out? I really did try when I rewatched this to see the good in it. I really did. I was desperately searching for the nuggets of good.
Here's why I think it meanders, and I correct me if I'm wrong, but I swear they have done because the episode where he realizes it's the gems, not these other people, when he kind of gets a name to the gems, if memory serves, was quite like did a similar thing to this. But I think the big problem with this,
we talked about rising tides crashing skies, and we said this isn't great, but this is probably the best use of Ronaldo so far. And that stands.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, in a Ronaldo episode context. I think the thing with this is, though, like, they like you say, it meanders because they do this halfway thing. So if they'd have played it, that Ronaldo that they see it through. They take Ronaldo on a mission, or Ronaldo, something's going on in the house, and Ronaldo is sweet and trying really hard, but failing, and maybe, or he's making like silly mistakes. Maybe you could be quite playful and have some fun with that.
Yeah, and then on top of not only that, you could then have the character stuff of Steven relating to that, because that's what he went through. He was inept when the show started. And then you've got really nice stuff with Steven looking at maybe and being contemplative about how far he's come. You know, rather than just spending 10 minutes making Ronaldo look as obnoxious as possible, which is all this episode ends up achieving.
I think you got to have Ronaldo learn something. I think using Ronaldo teach us something about Steven. You know, I'd like to make it more Ronaldo than
No,
that.
I 100%. No, I
But
agree with that. I'm just saying, like, that's the even your idea there had not just depth and potential for Ronaldo, but also give Steven a chance to be reflective. So it's
yeah,
like, that's the sort of level this show normally operates at, when multiple characters are learning things from the same events. Like,
yeah.
that's what this show is good at doing normally.
And even the other side of the coin, which I think would have been harder to do and it's weirder to do, like this sort of Ronaldo gets a bit weird and dark. The defense of that is the episode of The Simpsons where Bart can't go in the swimming pool and gets really odd and like just weird. Is a renowned episode of that show. So I think it's weird, but if you want to go down the Ronaldo takes a dark turn route, I think you could have done something more with that as well. Maybe make Ronaldo the villain, like in the episode, and the gems end up having to fight him, and he's like, I tried to learn from you, and I ended up becoming the villain. I can't do this. I think that's much harder than the first pitch. But like, my point is, one's one end, one's the other, and they've tried to do this odd middle ground. And for literally the climax to essentially be, he gets so tired he falls asleep. And then they put him back. Like what? What? That seems odd to me. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I know people like Ronaldo, and I can kind of. I guess if you like Ronaldo, the fact that he really does learn about the gems, the fact that he tries to be better, he tries to learn and not
That's
be so
what I was
conspiracy
gonna
driven.
say. That's what I was
Is
gonna say. Was the one redeeming element of this episode is that idea that it's someone spreading misinformation who gets the correct information, and instead of just sticking to what he believes, he learns enough to adjust his viewpoint. And that in itself is a nice-ish lesson. It's the journey about how they get there, though. That's a minute either end of an 11-minute episode. Do you know what I mean? And 2 minutes of sort of worthwhile content does not an episode make, you know? Everything in between is just zigzagging, meandering, uncertain, unfocused drivel, basically, that really achieves very little. The only thing I laughed at in this whole episode was that he had that shit sword he'd bought from he'd bought from a Comic-Con, and it clearly was as blunt as a baseball bat, because it didn't chop anything in half. It just kept sort of squishing things. I kind of got a little kick out of that as a line, like as a joke. But otherwise, there is nothing to the middle of this episode. There is nothing.
the gem stuff is quite funny. Their reactions to Ronaldo moving in and the blog. But even then, we didn't get more of that. And Amethyst at the end when she turns into him, maybe.
Yeah, that was because that wasn't so much funny as Pearl's reaction, which is that is Ronaldo. That's the line that makes that work.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, there's very little redeeming qualities in this episode. It's a shame, because I would love to be telling you guys that this is better than, better than the sort of you would maybe assume based on its Ronaldo-ness. But
no, I don't think it is. I think the biggest shame is it is for Ronaldo critics. It is exactly what you would assume.
You're right. That really is the issue, isn't it? Because I think when a character is divisive, like Ronaldo is, and he does definitely have his haters, and he does definitely have. I've seen the comments from people who've listened to our previous Ronaldo episode discussions and said, and sort of said it really breaks my heart a little bit that you guys don't like Ronaldo, and I get it. But I cannot do anything about it because it's just a character that the show has underserved, and I honestly think that's the problem, because if we look back at Restaurant Wars, that proved there is a way you can use Ronaldo that's fun and entertaining and makes him come across as like a sweet, likable guy. I really liked the use of his character in that episode. I remember distinctly us talking about it.
Yeah, we were full of compliments for it.
Yeah, and so it proves that it's not the character. The character's not at fault here. It's the plots they seem to be coming up with for him and the execution of his episodes that seems to damage his sort of reputation. And the fact that he has consistently been in some of our least favourite episodes is probably a big part of the reason that the character is not that popular. because I think if we always got the Ronaldo we got in Restaurant Wars, I think we'd have a very different opinion of him. I don't think we'd be anywhere near it
as negative or as volatile.
Yeah. And what's really bad is it's gotten to the point where the issue is so consistent. I'm seeing it to Ronaldo episode and judging it before I watch it. So now they're starting at a deficit. Now they're having to earn my trust back with Ronaldo as a character. For example, if you know, we know there's new episodes coming up. There's just from my perspective as a person who's watching it along with its actual release. Cartoon Network have announced 2 new episodes coming up pretty shortly, like next week. From our perspective, where are we now? We're May 3rd, so I think the 7th. I think there's new episodes or something like that. And but we know neither of those are Ronaldo episode. It's a 2-episode special. And there's been a hint at what they're focused on, and Ronaldo doesn't seem to be a part of it. But if they announced the very episode after that was a Ronaldo episode, I would honestly be like sighing and going, "Ugh, really?" But when I think about it, it's really not necessarily the character. It's just how consistently he's been in episodes I've not enjoyed. And I don't think he's necessarily at fault. I think he's being miswritten for, and I think the stories they're giving him are just exasperating the issues rather than sort of showing off what's good and interesting about that character. You know what? I would almost love to take a crack at writing a Ronaldo episode. I feel like
just to see if it could be done.
Yeah, I think it can. You look at what they've done with Lars, who is written as an unlikable character, but how much do we tend to love his episodes? He's had some really great episodes where we've really learned like a lot about him on like a slightly deeper level. You come to love Lars as a character, and what we certainly have in the episodes we talked about him. He's so recognizable to us as well. He's so relatable because we all know that person that acts a certain way because they want to be thought of a certain way and they want to make friends and they want to be liked, and it's probably not their truest nature, but they can't help themselves but sort of put on a performance almost. So you relate to Lars because you understand that it's not coming from necessarily an obnoxious place. It's coming from a place of trying. He wants to be liked and is willing to sacrifice his individuality for that, and that's interesting. But you look at Ronaldo and it's like, I'm sure there's a nugget of interesting, I mean, I like I said, they hinted at it this week. That idea that he is set with these conspiracy theories but is willing to adjust his viewpoint based on facts makes him interesting.
I want to touch on that because I've just been trying to find I saw a music artist that I love. I think I've mentioned him before, Frank Turner, live the other night. And he's got a new album out, and he played a song, and I can't find the lyrics to the song because the album's not out yet. It's out tomorrow, frustratingly. So if we were recording this tomorrow, I probably could. Oh no, yeah, tomorrow. Be More Kind. Check it out. It's great. From what I've heard of it. And anyway, he played this song live, and he talked about how it was inspired by things like Twitter, and it was inspired by the way conversations and arguments go now, and I'm going to butcher it because I can't find the exact lyrics, but essentially the lyric is along the lines of, next time you're in a conversation like that, try these words for size. I don't know. I've changed my mind. So it's the notion that no one now, everyone just sort of it just hammers home their point, or just there's not a lot of, because of things like, especially on Twitter, there's not a lot of conversation. There's a lot of just sticking to your guns, and no one ever says. I love that lyric. Like, check it. The song's called "Get It Right." From the perspective of people listening to this, it will be out there now. And it was really like cool to hear it. To hear a song for the first time and it immediately resonate, and you get the message of it, because that he's right. No one says I don't know anymore, and no one says I've changed my mind anymore. And actually, that's a really important message to get through to young children. And this show has a history of doing such wonderful things with important messages about like acceptance and about mindfulness and all those things. And I think this could have been a great opportunity to have a character do that. Have a character say, I don't know. Have a character say, I've changed my mind. And the importance of listening, the importance of two-way conversation. They really, I feel, could have done that more than they did.
All it would have taken was to focus the middle of the episode. So you start with him having this opinion of Gems, And rather than him immediately going, "Oh, Stephen, I'm so sorry, I got it wrong," have him not convinced to start with, and have Stephen invite him along to join the Gems on a mission to see what they do, and have him
Because imagine
struggle
that
with
scene,
them.
like Stephen coming home and just being like, "Guys, I've got a surprise. New member of the Crystal Gems," and Ronaldo appears. Like, you still get. It's so
Yeah.
much funnier, their reactions. You've had Stephen very quickly comes around to the idea, so to start with it being Stephen's idea doesn't seem out of reach. Like,
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
Stephen's
you're
the
right.
one that says like crystal gems are not. If we don't accept things that things and people that are different, then what are we? That's the whole point.
Mm.
And like and I think that if it had been he didn't want to change his mind initially, and Stephen said, "Well, come on a mission with us, see what we do." And at the end of the episode, Ronaldo had grown as a result of that journey directly. Because this is so arbitrary. He goes around, he puts a star on, he hangs around the house, he gets all jealous of Steven, and then he falls asleep, and then his mind is changed, and it's just like, wait, why? What?
Yeah, because this is
At
my.
what point
I'll
did
be honest
you
with
learn
like,
anything? Like, at what point did you learn anything here, other than the fact that
Well,
when you went to sleep in the Gem's house angry, and you woke up feeling differently for some reason?
So how does it actually? Yeah. So how does it? Like, they have the conversation. He's not seen him for 3 weeks, but this is how bad it is. I can't really. How bad it is to me, at least. I can't really even remember that conversation. I don't know if I was so numb by that point. But yeah. So he kind of says that he's changed his mind, doesn't he? Have you got like the script or something? What?
I can bring it up. Yeah.
What,
I
what
can't
does
remember.
what does
It's
say?
like because he basically Stephen talks to him. He's like, I've not seen you for a couple of weeks. Where have you been? He's like, oh, I've been thinking about everything, Stephen. He's been going through it. So here you go. Yeah, I took a real long nap and I did some hard thinking.
That's it.
I wasn't acting like Bloodstone. I was acting like Jerk Naldo. You accept me, but I still felt like an outsider. I guess even amongst outsiders, I'm the ultimate outsider. See, he's even been an asshole in his apology speech.
Yeah, but I think there's something quite. You feel sorry for him when he says, even in an outsider.
Again, that's what I'm saying. First minute, last minute, work fine. It's that journey between doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. They don't connect. It's what it is. It's like it's two ends of a rope, but instead of them being connected by that rope in the middle, there's just this mess of shit. So like none of it really links properly, and you want those two bits of rope to link together, but everything in between just is all over the place. And again, it wouldn't have been just so much simpler to have them bring him on a mission and have him change his mind. Seeing what the gems do and sacrifice, have him fuck up a bunch, have him say, "I think I can handle this. You gems think you're so great. Humans can look after this planet just fine," and he finds himself inept in the face of of gem stuff. The gems help him out, save him, but they're still really nice to him afterwards, and they say he did a really good job trying. And he learns that they're accepting and kind, and that they are looking out for humanity. And then he changes his mind and does his new pamphlet. That's a much more interesting episode, and a much cleaner and more sort of straightforward narrative than this mess that we got. I feel very strongly that, again, this is a character that the character isn't the problem. I'm going to continue to say it. I feel like for the people who like Ronaldo, I'm kind of on your side. There's no problem with Ronaldo. The more I think about it, and the more we rewatch and analyze these episodes, the more I realize the stories are letting him down. That's the issue. There is something interesting in there. He's just not getting a chance to execute it properly.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely fair. I think that, and because the other worry is they've been so kind of inconsistent with the character that I'm like, has he learned? Does he feel? You know what I mean? Or is that going to get reversed?
That's exactly it as well.
We
if they do another episode and it starts with him handing out misinformation again, I wouldn't be fucking surprised, to be honest.
And the shame of it is it would be so easy to cut to him handing out misinformation or cut to him in some sort of conspiracy mode that I can't see them not doing it, because why would you not fall back on that?
Yeah, and in a world where like aliens exist and all this weird gem shit's happening, having the inherent idea, just the base idea of having a character that's a conspiracy nut who's getting his fill of weird shit because all this stuff's happening around him is, again, practically speaking, there's nothing wrong with any of that. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's also geniusly funny, the idea of a conspiracy guy getting everything right but still being treated
Like a nut
like this
job.
mad conspiracy dude,
Yeah,
even though he's right, and it's so obvious he's right based on what happens in the town. Like, I think that's really funny, you know.
yeah. And I
Um,
just don't think he gets his dues. And it's a shame, really is. And the more I think about it, the more I become sort of frustrated at the handling of the Ronaldo episodes.
is there any triv at least, Dan? Have we got trivia?
I mean, Ronaldo choosing a gem named Bloodstone is a reference to sort of Steven Universe fans who create gem sonas. So they choose an
Oh,
actual
that's cool.
human gem, like not human gem, a real world gem, and make up a persona for it, and say that's their gem.
Okay.
With personas and abilities and stuff. In the early days of this podcast, in one of the Q&As, I think the first Q&A, someone asked us what our gem sonas were, and we I think we kind of brushed it off jokingly because we hadn't put too much thought into it. But I feel like for a future podcast, we should come up with our gem sonas, Chris. Like, choose a gem that's not yet appeared in the show and make up some sort of function in gem society, weapon, and personality.
Okay.
I think that'd be a funny idea. Because why not? We're in the fandom this much now.
I'm
We
in.
might as well go full on fandom, and then we have to
I'm
get
in.
we have
Well,
to get
again,
tattoos
though,
of our new gems on our bodies somewhere.
as with last week, I'm putting it on the audience. As with last week, you want to hear that 3-day blind date story? Remember in the Q&A, I'm calling it out again. You want our gem personas? Re-ask us in the Q&A, and we will do that.
Yeah. I'm sure at some point we'll have hiatuses and we'll be scrambling for this sort of shit to talk about.
Also true.
Yeah. The Rock People pamphlet mentions mind controlling minerals in the water supply, which is actually a reference to a controversy from the States in the 50s surrounding water fluoridation, which was sort of speculated at the time was a communist plot to impose a socialist state. Those conspiracy theories have been revived in the 90s and thousands when people were saying that water fluoride was containing narcotics that would repress individual thought as part of a series of government brainwashing tactics. I mean, it's all nonsense, obviously. It's the sort of shit what's that guy? The angry guy that's face goes red and he shouts.
Yeah, I can't remember his
the
name.
water's making the frogs gay. What's that guy called? Alex
Jones,
yes. Infowars, that guy. So it's kind of a play on the sort of shit that guy's spouting, which is kind of funny. Although in this case, again, Ronaldo has historically said a bunch of things that have then turned out to be accurate. So if it turns out that the diamonds have put something in the water to make people more accepting of weird gem shit or something, that would not surprise me. Because that would tie into Ronaldo.
Yeah, tie into Ronaldo accidentally getting it right.
Which would just become a theme.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, he makes. There's a great reference to Last Airbender. There's a really famous moment in the Last Airbender where two of the characters are interacting, and one of them says like, "What's wrong?" and the other one explains what's just happened, and it's something really shitty, and the other character just responds, "That's rough, buddy." And that's all he can think to say, and it's like a really funny moment and it's kind of become a bit of a meme, that moment from Last Airbender, where people will show clips from movies and then just add "that's rough, buddy." So like it's like I saw one where it was like Ash from the Evil Dead cutting off his own hand with a chainsaw in the second movie, and then just cuts to "that's rough, buddy." Like, so, and in this episode, Ronaldo was speaking to Steven after leaving, and he quotes that line. So yeah, I think that's kind of funny. Ronaldo mentions the anime that his sword is from is called "I Can't Believe My Stepdad's My Sword." And this is a reference to the excessive titles that animes have, such as "My Little Sister Can't Be This Cute" and "No Matter How I Look at It, It's You Guys." Oh, sorry, "It's you guys' fault I'm not popular." That's a hell of a title for a show. No matter how I look at it, it's you guys' fault I'm not popular.
Aren't those all tracks on Fall Out Boy's first album?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are. Yeah.
Wow.
And titles for Arctic Monkeys albums. So that's quite a common theme. Like I remember, watching like The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya and thinking like these shows have crazy long titles. So yeah, that's a reference to that.
Cool.
The font that Ronaldo uses on the Crystal Gems pamphlet is Papyrus, which is a popular though notorious font, almost as notorious as Comic Sans for being like horrendous font that everyone seems to use.
Yeah,
for
bad
some,
font to use. Yeah.
But everyone seems to use it, or idiots seem to use it. There you go. Sorry to anyone out there who's actually used Papyrus. There's an amazing. If you've not seen it, go on YouTube, put in Papyrus, and find. I think it's a Saturday Night Live sketch to do with Papyrus as a font, and it's fucking brilliant. If you can find that, it's very good. Apparently, the image of Pearl photoshopped on the cover of the pamphlet is called it's the common delta pose, which is used by the internet community for recoloring as a base for dot ping creations of that said character. So I guess that's some baseline image / pose that people seem to create their art based on or something. I don't really understand that sentence, but
I did enjoy that gag when Steven's like, "That's you and Pearl shaking hands." When did that even happen?
Yeah, it's great.
That did make me laugh.
Let's have a look. And the last little bit of interesting sort of... Oh, we should talk about... Actually, the last tiny bit of trivia before there's a last talking point. Ronaldo mentions Del Marvacon, which is a con that he's previously mentioned in his blog, which I've told you in the past, Chris. They updated his blog as it sort of, along with the show. There is an actual Ronaldo's Keep Beach City Weird blog. Doesn't get updates very often, but occasionally they do it in relation to the show. So when Ronaldo shows up or something big happens, they update it. Or they used to. I've not looked at it in a long time. I don't know if it's still updated. Let's have a quick check. Let's bring it up. Keep Beach City Weird. It's a blog on Tumblr owned by Ronaldo. Last update April 2017. So not for a while. So there you go. Anywho,
but after this episode, at least, I think. Isn't it?
Oh, that's a really good question. Let's see. April 18th, 2017. When did this episode air? That's a really good question, Chris. This is why we pay you the big bucks. We do pay you big bucks, right?
I'm not getting them, but yeah, apparently.
Oh, okay. We should really pay you in the currency of the country you live in, not in
That's
American currency. So this episode aired in February 2017, and the last update was April 2017. So yeah, at the time of that episode going out, that blog was still receiving regular updates. Of course, it makes sense the blog isn't currently receiving regular updates because we're not receiving regular episode. So let's start.
Yeah, I can't believe based on the Cartoon Network have announced that they're showing 2 random episodes. Are they linked? Are they important? What?
So yeah, basically there's a 5 or 6 episode arc. I think it was 6 episodes, and they decided to put 4 of them out on the app 4 weeks ago. But they held
the Wanted arc.
No, that's the arc that's coming up. That's the next one for us. Wanted. Right. That's the next arc we're gonna do. In like 3 episodes time. We're hitting the Wanted sort of arc / bomb.
Right. But that aired fairly recently, didn't it? From what you said.
No, that was late last year, I think.
Okay. Fine.
Or early last year. Mid last year. Mid last year.
Right.
I think. So let me just double check. Oh no, you know what? We're not quite at Wanted yet. You're right. No, you're absolutely right. There's a bomb. Then there's Wanted.
Right, okay.
So Wanted isn't until episode like 130, so we're about 10 episodes away from Wanted.
Right.
But this is post that. So there was like a 6 episode sort of story that they had, I guess, but it's not really. It's like the episodes aren't as linked as that suggests. But there was a sort of 6 episode batch that they had, but the final 2 episodes they decided to because the plan was release them all on the app, but then put them out on TV once a week anyway. For the people who do watch it on TV, I guess. But they decided because of spoilers, which suggests those last 2 episodes are a pretty big deal. They have kept back those last 2, so we're now waiting for the last 2 to air on TV. But over the last 4 weeks, they've been airing the first 4 that we already saw from the app 4 weeks ago. Does that make sense? Yeah, so that basically they've released 6 episodes across 6 weeks. Actually, no, 6 episodes across 5 weeks because they're putting the final 2 out together. And basically, they initially put the first 4 out on the app ahead of time, and now we're gonna get the last. We'll get the last 2 when they air on TV. But we're just waiting for the TV to catch up basically and watch the 4 episodes that everyone else watched 4 weeks ago. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But they're bigging up these episodes in a big way though. They're really hyping these 2 episodes, so we're expecting some big things. And there have been some hints that I've been kind of avoiding. And actually, this week, the whole of the Steven Universe fandom lost their shit when Cartoon Network dropped a massive huge, apparently game-changing spoiler by accident on a little
How did
video
they?
on the YouTube channel. Someone put together a quick video with an interview with Rebecca Sugar for a podcast or something, and they cut in footage from Steven Universe, but I guess they didn't check where the footage was from, and it's from an episode that, according to the I didn't realize this had happened until I started seeing comments about it. So the comments I saw before I realized that I should be really avoiding any of this suggested it was like series finale, like sort of level stuff they were seeing.
Oh wow.
Now I got lucky that I got that without getting actually the exact nature of the content explored or explained. I got a sense of what it might be looking at, but I didn't get the details, so I'm safe from this perspective. But yeah, apparently a lot of people were really upset because Cartoon Network just posted this thing. And it's been fascinating because we've had all sorts of chaos going on. So we had Ian Quarty saying like the Steven Universe crew works hard to create a fun and surprising story. We absolutely did not clear spoiler clips to be used. The video is made by some careless jerk who doesn't even work in our time zone.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That said, thanks for the fans of Steven Universe for being so cool and supportive about this. I know that being a Steven Universe fan is suffering, but someday you'll get to binge this show with a friend who's never seen it before and feel excitement and feel the excitement and consistent schedule we wanted. And yes, there are absolutely more surprises to come. Keep watching. And also he's added
almost pitching this podcast.
Yeah, 100%. I nearly commented under it and said that. And he said, and to follow up, one mistake does not mean the whole channel is at fault. We truly do work hard to do right by our fans. It's one mess up on one video, not the company as a whole. And Cartoon Network then reposted, after deleting it immediately once they realized what they'd done, that podcast, they reposted it with that footage edited out, and they commented on it. Things are never quite what they seem on Steven Universe. There's so much more to come this year, which I thought was a real kick in the nuts because they've clearly blown something huge, and now they're trying to make it seem like less of a thing. But
Wow.
but to be fair, now that's huge because I don't think none of the Crewniverse have ever openly criticized Cartoon Network's scheduling in anything but like a playful sort of way, like on that short that we watched recently. You know, that ended with Steven saying, whenever the next episode is, wink, you know.
Yeah.
That is to describe being a Steven Universe fan is suffering, and to say, you know, that the video was made by a careless jerk who doesn't even work in our time zone, like that's really quite biting. But I guess that speaks to the passion and the frustration that the fan base must not the fan base but the crew must be feeling, because they work so hard on this show, as he pointed out, and to have it sort of just accidentally put out there through carelessness is kind of a fuck up. But can I just say though, to the Steven Universe fandom, who I've generally always had a very high esteem for, guys, the sky isn't falling. Like, seriously, the amount of panic I've seen on I mean, this message is going out far too late, by the way, because by the time anyone hears this episode, this will be all old news by a mile. But I want to point out that, like, to the fans who this week, from my perspective in early May, been losing their shit about this and sort of talking as if it's the end of the fucking world, only the really hardcore fans know this happened. And a lot of them were very wisely warned ahead of time. Everyone who did, unfortunately, see this spoiler went out of their way to tell everyone else not to do it. There were lots of posts saying, "Do not look, do not find out. It's huge what they've let go of. Do not find out. You will regret it deeply." And that has gone a long way. So that's all great. But the people who are talking as if the show is basically coming to an end, guys, come on, like hardcore fans know this happened. Most people will never know that spoiler got out there.
Yeah.
It's just the fact of it. Like, so let's not talk as if the sky is falling, because it really isn't.
Wow, that's all crazy. But fair play to them for being like not spoiling it anywhere, just being like, nah, avoid it.
Like, literally, because there's a lot of people have been saying, and this is, I found, the most effective way to discourage it. There are people who have been saying, "Oh, I'm a leaks guy. If something leaks, I like to see it, and if there's a spoiler out there, I'll find it and I'll look at it. And even I regret looking at this," which sort of says that it's something fucking massive. So I mean, I've even seen people who've seen it saying like, "Oh, I just hope it turns out to be like a dream sequence, so I can still be surprised." Or so, like, so God knows what this footage is. I will find out eventually, obviously, but for the time being,
Yeah, when they air it in 2 years. But yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's the problem. I don't even know when I'll know, but I guess once I've seen it, people will post. That was the thing that we found
that's
out
what
about.
it was.
I'm guessing that's what will happen. But
Yeah.
to be honest, yeah, like I said, I got a vague sense of what it might be in relation to from a comment I saw before I realized what was going on. So I think that I might recognize it when it happens anyway. But again, I don't feel like I've been spoiled. Do feel very lucky, and I feel like I've avoided it. But again,
Okay.
it's the panic that's been felt in the community the last few days has been really astonishing to watch. But again, 10 points to everyone who've been going out of their way to convince people not to do it, because that's really cool. And no one's been doing that. No one's been doing the shitty, Snape kills Dumbledore thing of like, getting the spoiler and like putting it everywhere on purpose just to be an asshole. Like I've not seen a single person.
That's really cool.
I've not seen a single person do that, which does speak to the awesomeness of this fandom.
Yeah, definitely.
I really didn't think this episode would end up talking about that. So let's get back to the last point from this episode. One last thing I wanted to talk to you about, Chris, that's related to Rocknaldo. At the end, Stephen is directly asked the question that I've wondered many a times, which is why he doesn't go by his mother's name.
Oh yeah, and he says it's because most people that call him that are after him. Yeah, I thought that was a nice touch. I thought his answer made sense. I thought the logic that they're trying to, the people around him, call him Stephen because he's his own person. He's half Greg, half Rose, so they give him like a human name is a really nice touch. And yeah, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a good little bit of dialogue because it's Ronaldo's like, "Can I ask you something? Why don't you use your gem name?" And Steven's direct response is, "Oh, my gem name is my mom's name. Actually, the only time the gems call me that is if they're trying to kidnap me or beat me up." Essentially, sort of suggesting that it's just got a negative connotation to it at this point. But yeah, that is really interesting. Do you think that Steven would ever go to Rose Quartz?
No, I think because he's been raised as Stephen, and he's Stephen, and I think that he would prefer to be his own thing. I think, especially with the way he's feeling about his mum at the moment. No, I don't think that will happen.
I was wondering if there was ever a redeeming moment for Rose, because you've got to presume, just from a narrative arc, that the show will end with Stephen feeling comfortable with what his mum did or finding. Sorry.
Yeah, with his mum. Yeah.
Yeah. So you I suppose what you could do if you clearly establish that's one of the factors in him not taking her name. I suppose one of the ways you could, at the end, sort of towards the end game of this show, do that is have him say, "I am Rose Quartz," and take that name on.
Maybe, but I don't want him to. I want him to be Stephen.
He is his own thing, isn't he? Because he's half human.
Yeah, he's his own thing.
He isn't Rose Quartz. Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yeah, that dismisses his human side and dismisses the stuff that comes from Greg. So
unless he goes Stephen Quartz,
I want him to be Stephen. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Drops the universe last name. Goes for I got Stephen from my dad. I'm a take Quartz from my mum. Yeah. I just thought that was an interesting thing because it's one of those things that I'd like thought, but. And I'll be honest with you, I think when I first saw this episode, I forgot. Since first seeing this episode, I forgot that moment happened. But I found it quite interesting.
No, it's a nice moment, and it's a cool little. It's one of those moments that it makes you go, "Oh yeah," and makes you think about something you didn't necessarily, at least for me,
pay too much attention to.
Thought about. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So that's everything.
There you go.
Yeah. Some Rocknaldo chat. Some discussion of how my position has changed. I don't think Ronaldo's the problem. I think he's getting stiffed on the episodes.
Yeah, I think that's fair as well.
So yeah, that's and this analyzing this episode has finally sort of taught me that not to blame the character, but actually to look at maybe how they're handling him in the context of the episodes. The next one is called Tiger Philanthropist.
Ooh,
what does that make you think of, Chris?
I don't know. Isn't the Amethyst wrestling person a tiger? Have I got that wrong?
She was the Purple Puma, and Stephen was Tiger Millionaire.
Yeah, so maybe something to do with that.
Tiger Philanthropist. Yeah. One of my girlfriend Edia's favorite characters was Tiger Millionaire. She got excited when she saw the title for this episode that's coming up.
Was she disappointed?
I'm not going to answer that question
Okay, fair enough.
because that would give away exactly what it covers, and I feel like I shouldn't give you those expectations, Chris.
Fair enough.
But yeah, that's the next episode. We have got some good ones coming up. There's an episode that there's an episode coming up. It's not the next one, it's the one after that. Like, I have some really I had a very strong reaction to, and I'm not gonna get into exactly how or why, because I don't want to give it away ahead of time. But yeah, the episode, not this next one, but the one after that, is going to be a really interesting discussion. So there's plenty of exciting stuff ahead of us. Then there's the final bomb, that starts with Lion 4 alternate ending, and then we have a couple more episodes, and then I think we go. Oh no, we don't. We go straight into the Wanted arc. When that finishes, it's a bomb followed by Wanted, and then
does that end the season?
The bomb ends the season, but we didn't know that. We didn't know that at the time.
Yeah,
we found out once the next set of episodes aired that we were in the start of the new season.
Right, okay.
It's fucking weird. So yeah, but yeah, some good stuff coming up. So actually, we've got a really strong run coming up, of like really important and very, very interesting episodes, as we sort of barrel our way towards the current sort of episodes. We're getting there, Chris. We're nearly there.
Cool.
And then what do we do? No. So that's
hiatus stuff.
Yeah, the hiatus content.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Cool.
So that's everything for this week then. I've been Dan Doolan.
I've been Chris Billingham.
And we'll speak to you next week as we discuss Tiger Philanthropist.